they circulated this flyer that they're going to have a fucking lasagna dinner, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking red sauce, you know, hamburger, all the cheese, the noodles. I mean, I love lasagna. And, you know, it was dangerous times, and I made the long trek to the Chow Hall to get my piece of fucking lasagna. And it turned out to be white lasagna with fish. Fish lasagna. Now, who the fuck does that? Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode live from the Lair. When I was the NCOIC of Abu Ghraib prison, every day was an adventure. All kinds of crazy shit was going on. We were being attacked from all sides, mortars, the whole fucking deal. So it's a real fucking deal. It's, you know, Abu Ghraib prison was in the Sunni Triangle, which at that time in Iraq was the belly of the beast. And after the whole torture thing fucking broke on the news, it became the eye of the storm and the hurricane of the butthole of the fucking world. So it was all fucked up. A couple times, my guys found, C4, hand grenades, and once we found a suicide vest, they were stashed inside the prison, buried along the road. And luckily they were found because apparently the Haji was sneaking them in, dropping them off, and then somebody else would follow on mission and execute whatever they were supposed to do. That's how their MO was. Like you'd see guys walking along the road and they would just drop the components for an IED, and another guy would come along and drop off a couple more. And then, one guy would come up and then assemble it and hide it, and another guy would come along and then bury it and get it in position. So, I mean, it was pretty insidious. But once you figured out the pattern of how all that worked, I mean, you could defend against it. So it wasn't as successful. In fact, it wasn't successful at all. At least not in Abu. There was up in Mosul, the northern part of Iraq. An individual got a suicide vest into the Chow Hall and detonated it and killed off a bunch of contractors and soldiers. In fact, later on, in the deployment, when I became the first sergeant, I went up to Mosul quite a few times, and I actually sat at the table where that guy actually offed himself and smoked a bunch of other U.S. citizens. Yeah, and gentlemen, I'd appreciate if I could get some backup on the comments, because I'm getting a lot of fucking crybaby snowflakes dropping off a lot of fucking hate comments. I'm some kind of drone killer, fucking whatever. And it's tedious, man. It just is. Okay, now first of all, I or my men didn't murder anybody. Let's just get that straight. They acted in self-defense when they were being shot at, and that's just the way it goes, and everyone was on edge, and it's easy to make decisions and criticize people from outside the box. I mean, because once you're in the box and you're in that environment, it's completely different. So that kind of aggravated the shit out of me right there. I had one fucker down there say I should have killed myself. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to probably ban that dude, because that's just fucking stupid. I think I've been doing this 6 years. I've banned, 12 to 18 people. And all of them were fucking for violent remarks such as that. And one or two of them were fucking sick-ass remarks at my kids. I'm not putting up with that. Okay, so let's get down to one of the stories here. Oh, yeah. All right. The Chow Hall was being run by an English company. I covered this a couple of episodes back. Again, they did another fucking crazy fake out, They circulated this flyer that they're going to have a fucking lasagna dinner, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking red sauce, hamburger, all the cheese, the noodles. I mean, I love lasagna. And, again, they did another fucking crazy fake out, They circulated this flyer that they're going to have a fucking lasagna dinner, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking red sauce, hamburger, all the cheese, the noodles. I mean, I love lasagna. And, it was dangerous times, and I made the long trek to the Chow Hall to get my piece of fucking lasagna. And it turned out to be white lasagna with fish. Fish lasagna. Now, who the fuck does that? I remember I waited in line, I get up there, and they throw it on my fucking plate. And I just fucking yelled at the top of my lungs, and I just threw the tray and everything over the fucking counter onto the floor. I did a 180, and I walked back to the guy who ran the office. John Wayne'd his door, and he was on the phone. He's like all fucking, shooken up. And I remember I kicked his desk, and it moved like 8 inches, and you're fucking fired. You are fucking fired, motherfucker. This is bullshit. Fish lasagna? Who the fuck are you? Oh, I was about to punch the guy. So I did a 180. I walked out of his office. I walked out of the Chow Hall. And I walked right to the OIC's fucking office, which is about 350 meters away. And by the time I got there, they had already called him and told him I had gone berserk in the Chow Hall. And I walk in there, and I'm like, he's like, what happened, Pop? And I'm like, oh, my damn it, And then I fucking calmed down, and I'm like, they tried to serve me white fish lasagna. And he's just like, what? I go, they handed out these fucking flyers. Everybody and their mother came to the Chow Hall expecting to have fucking lasagna, risks their lives walking across this huge fucking open area without a lick of fucking cover to eat their fucking lasagna, and they pull this fucking horse shit. I go, I want that English company fucking fired. And he just looks at me and goes, roger that, done. 2 weeks later, actually I think it was a week and a half later, KBR took over the contract for the Chow Hall, and we went from this English fucking crazy fucking menu items to American, which was that needed to happen. I mean, it was the usual, when you go to the Chow Hall, you have the fast food line, you got the sandwich line, and you got the standard stuff. And, they kept the ice cream bar the same because it worked. But oh my God, I mean, that was another thing that was really bad for the morale, when you just got to eat shitty ass fucking food day in and day out. And the only time I actually could get any good food is when I was working, the PX deal, and I was fucking going to Victory and eating at the General's fucking mess. But they had the super Chow Hall there, and that was fucking awesome.
Want to retire someplace on the planet where the women look like this? I thought you did, but if you want to know how, first you need to go to MGTOWbooks.com and purchase MGTOW's Guide to Retiring on 200K in Southeast Asia. Don't forget to use the promo code POPP, that's P-O-P-P, for 10% off. A link is in the description.
All right, here's another one. I was NCOIC. I basically, made sure the security of the prison remained intact. I reviewed all of the current intel that was, around the prison, and I was up to speed on everything that was going on within the prison for the most part. Except for the, super secret whip me, spank me building. I refused to fucking have anything to do with that. I have no idea what went on in there, nor did I care to know, so I didn't fucking deal with that at all. So a lot of times my duties require me to, check out shit that would happen, usually within 1 mile. Sometimes they pushed out even a little bit farther than that, or around the fucking prison. Like if we took mortar attacks and they identified the firing positions, I'd roll out there with a fucking QRF, and we'd mark it on the map, and it was just stupid. I mean, because we would just do the same fucking thing, and we couldn't even put a landmine there. We didn't even do counter battery. I mean, it was shameful, just shameful. And another one that I fucking hated doing was I called it the zombie missions. So if somebody got blown up, or some crazy ass shit went on out there, or a convoy got fucked up by, or not a convoy, but an enemy attack force or an attack convoy got fucked up by an Apache and got turned into road pizza, they would send me out there with the QRF, and then we'd have to do fucking retinal scans and fucking fingerprints on these fucking dead fuckers. Like, it makes a difference. Like, there was some officer fucking, whipping this pony because he wanted to get his Bronze Star, and that takes a long time. Like, I remember I did it, like, I followed through on 2 of them, and like, we were on the fucking area objective for like 45 fucking minutes. That is unacceptable. That's given, the enemy more than enough time to set up on your ass and set you up for a long box. So I remember we'd get in there and we'd go out there and, rolling out there to go look at some fucking dead fuckers. And the Marines that were with me like, oh man, another fucking zombie mission. And I'd be like, nope, we're not picking up shit. We're just rolling out there, going to mark it on the map. And I'll just take the ass chewing because I'll just say, hey, we had enemy activity in the area and it wasn't safe. Which was true. It's true. And, I don't remember the captain's name. Or maybe he was a major. I don't recall. He was on the staff of the 202. And, oh my God, he would just get in my shit all the time. And I'd be like, I understand, sir. And he would always come up with the same fucking thing. We got to identify these dead fuckers so we could take them off the fucking, the list. They have like this list of like bad guys. And I'd be like, well, if you don't see them again, these guys on the list, if you never see them again, then you pretty much got to assume they're dead. So you can just write them off after a certain amount of time. He didn't want to hear logic. He just wanted to see, the hard evidence. Because apparently they were building a database, taking fingerprints and doing retinal scans of all of the fucking dudes that had any contact with American forces. And if they found an IED, a bomb, or whatever, and it had fingerprints on it, they would take the fingerprints and match them against the database and get the name of fucking, an Alibaba who was doing bad shit. And then they'd run him down, kick his door, and bring him into the Whip Me Spank Me house. Or other bad shit would happen to him. But, it is what it is.
Cast out into the street, stripped of all motivation, but still expected to pay for everything as if you're still married. Yet somehow, Greg has been reborn through the simple game of golf. Sinking 30-foot putts has doused the flames of a spiritual hell, and now, life is not all cruelty and suffering. Purchase Chasing the Best Days on Amazon today. A link is in the description.
The zombie missions, fucking hated that. God damn it. Now, this particular zombie mission, the zombie missions, fucking hated that. God damn it. Now, this particular zombie mission, this was actually, I had actually worked out with the Bradleys, the unit, the CAV unit that was, manning the Bradleys around the prison. And they'd rotate them out, and they'd keep them on their sector for like 12 hours. And, and I remember I had them bring a second Bradley out to relieve one, and it was after dark. And then they would relieve the one that was needed, and then the third Bradley turned off all of its lights, and we turned off the lights in the front of the prison, and it rolled into Abu. And we had it parked up by the front gate off to the side so you couldn't see it. And it just so happens that during that night, the 4-inch mortar crew came out of hiding, and they decided they were going to hang some rounds on Abu. Well, the Bradleys have that fucking crazy-ass cannon, auto cannon on the top of that fucker, and they have thermal and all that crazy optics. So, they started dropping rounds. The Bradley rolled right out the front gate and just whacked these guys. The entire crew got fucking smoked. It was like 8 guys. They had like 4 guys for ammo, 4 guys for the setup. One of them was still wearing his Iraqi uniform. Apparently, this is what he did when he was, in the Iraqi army. He was, a mortar guy, so he knew what he was fucking doing. Incredibly dangerous. And the next morning, I had to go out there with the Marines and go fucking, pick up the weapon and pick up all their sidearms and throw them in the vehicles. And then we piled all the rounds in one area, and we called EOD to come blow them up. And then we had to pick up the bodies, which really sucked because you basically needed a stick with a nail it on the end to pick up all the meat and put it in bags. And I don't even know what they did with it. We just dragged it back and left it off by the airfield like we were told. And apparently people came and picked it up, mortuary services. I don't even fucking know. But yeah, holy shit, that was terrible. Oh, that was another one of those days where you smell the fucking, the guts and the meat, and And I remember, like, I'm standing there in the middle of all of this fucking carnage, and I'm calling into the fucking the talk, and they're like, "Hey, what do you see?" And I'm like, "I'm standing in meat, in a field of meat." It was so fucking horrible. Even the fucking flies were going crazy, and it was dark. I mean, it was insane. Now, we needed, I was doing a lot of the obstacles and, barriers and stuff for the prison. And we're getting mortared all the time. And I don't know, I think it was KBR or one of the other American, General Dynamics or whatever. They had civilian construction crew on site, and we had like a bulldozer, cranes and stuff like that. And, I needed barriers put up, and I remember I talked to them, and they're like, "Well, we can't do anything until we haven't had any mortar fire for 2 days." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? When is the last time we went 2 days without any fucking mortar fire, you stupid fucks?" And they're like, "Hey, that's just what the contract says." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, I'm like, "Okay, well, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to do it myself. Give me the keys to the bulldozer, and I'm going to fucking just figure it out." And they're like, "Well, you can't really touch that." And I'm like, "Why the fuck can't I?" "Well, it's, technically it's not Army equipment." I'm like, "Oh, it's not? Well, how did that Army equipment get here?" "Did you guys fly it in on your own fucking birds? Yes or no?" And I had this long fucking debate, and finally I said, "Fuck you. You guys are a bunch of fucking pussies. I'll get fucking grunts to do your job for you." And so literally, I got like 6, 7 guys who had, some experience with, heavy equipment. And we're walking out there, and the KBR, they came out with their hard hats, and they fucking, were doing their, I basically had to shame these guys into doing their job. I hate fucking doing that, but I did learn it from my fucking mother, Well, that's all I can say. I had to shame these guys into that, man. And I kind of understand where they're coming from, because, nobody likes getting mortared, especially when you're in the fucking open, man. Nobody fucking likes that. All right, we're at right around 17-ish minutes. I think we're going to call it here and continue on next time. You guys take it easy.